Slipknot frontman Corey Taylor recently announced the cancellation of his North American solo tour. He indicated that he was dealing with mental health issues and needed to take time to focus on himself. Now, after he recently announced some shows taking place in the Philippines, there were a number of commenters questioning the decision again to cancel that North American tour. Corey has uploaded a much more in-depth and a very transparent look at some of the things he's been dealing with. And quite frankly, it's heartbreaking. It seems like he's been struggling a lot, and he goes into details about some of the things, including he says that he nearly relapsed. So we're going to go through what Corey had to say here, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit as well. But this is what Corey had to say about that decision to cancel the tour and some of the details about what he's been dealing with personally.
Hey everybody, Corey Taylor here. Where do I even start? I decided to make this video in response to a lot of the feedback that came out after I announced that I would be carrying on with my Southeast Asia run. Originally, that was supposed to be mentioned in the statement that I released relating to my mental health lapse. The truth of the matter is I understand why so many of you are upset, and I'm just going to break it down for you. I, over the last year, have had a complete and utter breakdown of boundaries, mental health, ego, entitlement, the whole 9 yards, culminating in a very, very real, very near relapse that I kind of don't recognize myself. So again, I wanted to address this and just tell people that I needed time to reset. I needed time to start working on my heart and my mind and get straight. The reason I'm keeping the Southeast Asia run, it's literally 4 shows. It's literally a week. I'm going to see how I do with that and just take it day by day, basically. I'm working on self-care right now, getting the help that I need, and surrounding myself with my family. So to everyone concerned with me, thank you very much. I appreciate it. To everyone who's upset, I hope this answers any of your questions. I'm just doing the best for me right now, and it's a long road, and I don't know what's at the end of it, but I look forward to it. I have gratitude for it, and I hope you can show me some patience. Thank you.
To talk about this further, we're joined by my friend Derek Blackman from the Snark Tank podcast, which I've linked to in the description. Derek, what do you make of all of this, man?
It's very sad to see. First of all, hey, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate you. Love what you do. And I guess for being such a fan of Slipknot and Corey Taylor for most of my life, I've never got to see him in this state publicly like this, so it's heartbreaking with everything he said and almost relapsing essentially. And it's one of those things that all of the stuff that's been transpiring over the past year or so, it'll get to anyone. I mean, especially when you have to make a really hard decision, like with, the member changes and everything. And for whatever reason they have, and we don't know publicly, the fans, and having to keep it professional and essentially put up with all the stuff that people are saying. And then just everything else that's in, just so many things that have probably been happening. And I can only imagine you can't avoid it all, right? You can try to kind of stay off your phone and whatnot, but when you're somebody of that magnitude, you're gonna get it from all directions, and I can only imagine how much pressure it's been, and it probably seeping into his family as well. And just getting, you see like his wife Alicia and just everybody. So I can only imagine. It makes sense that he needed to take a break, and I understand why a lot of people were concerned when he said he was going to continue with a handful of shows. But hey, man, let's just trust that he knows what he's doing.
I agree. And, I got to be honest, it's also a little frustrating to me because I've seen his character really drug through the mud. And, this is a person that's been really helpful to me personally. He came on the podcast when Rockfeed was much smaller than it is now, and he didn't have to come on. I don't think it really did anything for him. And I remember meeting him, and like after we filmed the podcast, we hung out until the show, and then I got to watch Slipknot perform from the side of the stage. And then he came on the podcast multiple times after that, including less than a year ago. And every time I've been around that dude, he is over the top nice. He comes across as very genuine and sincere. He'll have a conversation with you away from the cameras. If you're a person who Slipknot's music has, done something for you, if it's meant a lot to you, this is a person who obviously does not feel well right now. Now's the time to be vocally supportive of them, to pump them up.
I don't have experience on something of that level, but I have since dealing with YouTube for about 8 years. There have been times where large creators have taken something out of context and did hit pieces on me, and I had to I had the privilege of being able to ignore it because it was only like dozens, hundreds of people maybe saying something at a time, and then it would go away after like 2 weeks. Slipknot is way too big for it to just wash away that quickly, to where every post you see on Slipknot, on Corey, I'm surprised that, I know what people say when you turn off comments, people get like, oh, but at the same time, sometimes you kind of want to turn off the comments to not let all of that, just that BS just flourish in there. And I'm surprised that it's been all open, and then you just see all of the hate and the crazy stuff that people have been saying. And it really does beg the question, like, how do you navigate this? And the only thing I wish, now I know when it comes to business perspectives and there could be liability, legality stuff, slander, blah, blah, blah. And so maybe you don't want to say a bunch of stuff. But from my perspective, I wish they could just say, Corey, Clown, anybody could say, hey, this is what's going down. We're going to just be 100% I wish. And, I'm not even saying like I'm mad that they don't, because I understand why people don't do that all the time. Bands and entities don't do that all the time. But imagine how much clarification, how much clarity there could be if they were allowed to do that, if they felt that comfortable to do that. Like, because from my perspective, even though we all agree that Jay is an amazing drummer and he fits so well in Slipknot, you have to beg the question where you're like, well, if he's that amazing, why on earth would he get let go? Well, there must be a good freaking reason. They must have a good reason why. We just don't know it. And to act like we know, like, oh, they just fired, there's money and this and money and that. And I'm like, bro, they have plenty of money.
Yeah. It's always that they're sitting around stressed about money. And I'm always going like, I don't think so. I don't think that they're like, it's the same thing with Ozzy Osbourne. Sharon needs money. No, they don't.
Right. Like, it's just about like the creative decisions. And I don't want to get into it, but all I can say is if you're even curious remotely, Jay's been in a handful of bands. Maybe you want to like look into how his relationship with those bands were or something. Maybe you want to do some type of even a little bit of an investigation before you just come to a conclusion that Slipknot is to blame 100% and blah, 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 this and this and that. And it's like, clearly Corey's bothered by this. Who wouldn't be? Yeah. When you know the truth and you just wish people would be cool. And so, like you said, this is a great opportunity for people that care about him a lot. And obviously I care about him a lot. I don't have a lot of experience talking to him, but anecdotally, I posted the shittiest cover of Duality like 19 or something, just like a chorus.
Bro,
And I
if you
just
didn't
tagged-
if you didn't ever do a shitty cover of a song, like because I did many, you know, are you even a metal fan? Like, are you
Yeah.
even if you didn't try to sing your favorite song?
That is very true. Before I knew anything I was doing, I just put it up there. I said something like, "Hey," I tagged him. I said, "Hey, call me the Black Corey Taylor," and he saw it. He thought it was neat. He followed me. We DM'd a little bit. It was cool. Like we had a little bit of interactions, and that was a little bit before he decided to go silent. The way that these people behave and the way that they act online is so different from in real life. When you actually get to talk to people, hang out with them, you get to see their character. The amount of stuff that Corey's done. I mean, even when I remember there was this UK rapper, Kid Bookie, like just
Shout out Kid
finding
Bookie.
Shout out, man. Like somebody who's just money hungry doesn't just do shit like that. Hey, I'm gonna appear
Great
on
point.
your record. I'm gonna appear on your record where I have absolutely nothing to gain from that. Like clearly, this guy just loves music. Stand-up guy, wants to do cool projects, and right now he's having a little bit of a hard time. And people are like, "Bruh, just give him a break." God
Yeah,
damn.
you know, I just hope that people are kinder going forward, and maybe people are show this guy some support right now because he's obviously going through some shit, and you know, it's just so important. So thank you so much for coming on, bro. I always appreciate you, appreciate your insight, and I hope to have you back on very soon.
100%, man. I appreciate you, and yeah, guys, let's do better. Let's do better, man. We've lost a lot of legends. We've lost a lot of legends in situations like this. So we need to have each other's backs, 100%.